is Coach Newberry's brother, only brother. So in case you're wondering who this nice man to my right is, that's David. As you guys are all aware, Coach Newberry was in the realm of national powerhouse teams in both basketball and softball. Since stepping foot on campus, she was active in coaching field hockey as well. But basketball and softball, I believe it's fair to say, were probably her true love. During her 26-year basketball coaching career, she led the Muskies to 403 wins, 5 conference championships, 5 tournament championships, 3 national quarterfinals, and a national runner-up trophy in 1991. During her 36-year softball coaching career, her honors continue to stack up as she holds the Division III wins record at 907. Now that's a lot of wins. I mean, if you do that math, that's a lot of wins. Her softball team tallied 18 OAC championships, advancing them to the NCAA tournament 18 times. Out of the NCAA appearances, Coach Newberry led her team to 8 World Series appearances, which the 2001 team ultimately took the national championship. She was the OAC Coach of the Year 14 times and was Regional Coach of the Year 7 times. She was the National Coach of the Year in basketball in 1991 and in softball in 2001, leaving her the only coach to be awarded this honor in 2 sports. One of her most prestigious awards came in 2008 when Coach was inducted into the NFCA Coaches Hall of Fame. And just like Eric Hoyt, it seems like both of the women that are getting inducted today, we just don't have enough time to talk about all of their awards, but that could be true for both the men as well. Beyond the numbers, Coach Newberry left a lasting impression on her players and colleagues, and I feel as if that's probably truly what she would want me to talk about today. Her stern, no-excuse attitude helped mold 28 All-Americans and 3 academic All-Americans in their respected sport, and numerous All-League and All-Region honorees. Though she was tough and expected the most out of each player, her Christian lifestyle was at the root of all of her decisions on and off the field, leading to classroom and business world success for players. Like I said earlier, I was fortunate enough to both play and coach alongside of her for 7 years before she ultimately lost her 3rd battle to breast cancer last November. Sorry guys, I practiced this like 10 times. During those 4 years as a player, I told you I wouldn't do this, sorry. I know. Sorry, Grandma. During those 4 years as a player and 3 years as her assistant, she helped mold me into the person and coach I am today. I often get chills up and down my spine when I use one of her sayings at practice now with my players. The sayings that I used to hate and joke around with my teammates about at practice. That's crap, find a sense of urgency, and you yin-yangs are a couple that come to mind. Ashley Price and Kristen Hagen, I'm sure you appreciate that. Sorry, you can thank Coach Newberry. For being someone who is as no-nonsense as Coach was, I felt like our relationship was a little different. I tried to take full advantage of every opportunity that I could to pull one over on her, which was pretty daring because I think a lot of people were scared of her. But my senior year, I spent a lot of time in the training room with Ken Blood. Is Ken, are you still here? And we were doing some rehab on my shoulder because I played my last 2 seasons with a torn rotator cuff, so Ken and I became best friends. But April Fool's came around that year, and I was real nervous the 3 years prior to, because we had that relationship where we could joke around, but no one really pulled April Fool's jokes on Coach Newberry, because, let's be serious. So anyway, I'm sitting down there on the training bed, and I'm telling Ken, I'm going to get her. I'm going to get her. I've had this plan. I've been thinking about it for 3 years. At the conclusion of my junior year, Coach Newberry asked me to stay on staff upon graduating and be her graduate assistant. And come November, my senior year, we actually sat down and she went through all of the pros and all of the cons. There really probably weren't very many cons in her eyes. But she told me, I said, well, how long do I have to think about this decision, knowing that I pretty much made up my mind? And she said, well, let me know by December. So before I went home for Christmas break my senior year, I went in and I said, I'll accept this position. I'm really looking forward to it. And she goes, all right, Kari Hoying, well, come March or April, don't come back in here and tell me you're not going to take this position. So after spending that lovely morning with Dr. Blood, I walked up those steps in the rec center and knocked on her door, and she was sitting at her computer checking emails, I'm sure. And I said, Coach, do you have a minute? And I never shut the door whenever I went in to talk to Coach Newberry unless it was something serious, and I shut the door. So she looked at me funny, and I was like, oh, sucker. And I sat down, and you know, my first words were, it's about this graduate assistant position. And she took her glasses off and kind of just sat them on her leg, and she's like, okay. And I said, you know, I just don't think I want to take it anymore. So then my heart starts beating a little faster. Even though I acted like I wasn't scared of her, I was still a little scared of her. And I said, you know, and she was like, what? By that time, the tone of her voice changed a little bit, and I said, well, you know, I just think I've learned everything I possibly could in these 4 years. And she proceeded to not think that this was very funny, and I continued to tell myself in my head, hey, Kari, it's a good time to stop this joke. But my mouth kept talking, and I said, you know, Coach, New Concord's great, but I've been here for 4 years. I kind of want to branch out. I want to learn from somebody else, and like I said, I just feel like I've gained everything from you. She told me again, that's crap, and let me know that I had no idea what I was talking about, and that for being a 2-year captain in her program and having the relationship that we had, she couldn't believe I would tell her something like that. So again, I'm thinking it's a good time right now, Kari, to tell her I'm just kidding, April Fools. And instead, I keep going. And I let her know that I talked it over with my family and over Christmas break, and it was a tough Christmas break, but I just feel like I'm making the right decision. I really want to go where the wind's blowing. And by this time, I'm getting screamed at in the office. Yes, Grandma, she yelled at me. I'm sorry, she really did that. About that time, I really realized that I had her good. And I said, hey, what is today? And the exact words out of Coach Newberry's mouth was, why do I care what today is, Kari Hoying? This is a serious matter. And I was trying to convince her, you know, that it was April Fools, and it's like, haha, funny. And she was not having it. And so I said, again, what is today? And we had a game the next day, just to let you guys know, just a little tidbit. And she was like, it's the 1st of April. Why are you asking? And I was like, it's April Fools! And she looked at me, she put her glasses back on, she scooted back up to her computer desk, and she said, you know what, tomorrow this will be funny, Kari Hoying. Today it's not. Get out of my office. So that was just kind of the relationship that Coach and I had. It was definitely a fun ride, and I am honored to be standing up here with David, and Coach's mom and sister-in-law are also in the crowd, and I know a lot of her past athletes and even athletes not on her team and fellow coaches have been affected by her just as I have. So in closing, I want to thank Juanita Newberry, who I call Grandma. I've adopted her. We share the same birthday, which is kind of cool. And David and Jean, David, her brother, and Jean, our sister-in-law, for being here on homecoming weekend to accept this award. It's out of our deepest appreciation for the work, the memories, and the lasting impact that your daughter and sister and our coach left on this university and will continue to show over the years. So David, in honor of Coach Newberry, thank you and congratulations.